Alright, shooters, we've had people request the proper stance for an AR. This is one of my AR setups that I have. One of the things that I want to talk about is the difference between gripping a rifle, long gun, especially in this case, an AR, versus your handgun. One thing that you want to think about is your hand placement, and you want to be able to repeat the same amount of motion from one to the other. That becomes very important because you're not having to relearn and rethink everything when you're in a high stress situation, or where time is life or time is trophy, depending on if you're in competition or an actual engagement. But when I'm here, what I want to do is I want to come up and grip the firearm in the same way that I would grip a handgun. So if you think about this firearm, when I come up, I get as good of a high grip as I can possibly get. Again, the web of my hand gets as high up on the weapon as I can. My thumb is going to stay high. On a pistol, it's so that we can not cross over. We can stay high to get a good grip. On an AR, obviously, I want to be able to work the safety. Okay, so as I come up, I'm here, I want to be able to work the safety back and forth. So I got to have my thumb up to do that, not down here. Good high grip with this hand, coming up in cover position. Okay, just like I would a pistol. So that's my grip with my shooting hand. My non-shooting hand, I have a vertical foregrip on this firearm. Some of my other firearms don't. Some of my other long guns don't. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to treat this just with that same 45-degree angle and with the same grip frame. I even use the same angle of my thumb. Some people like to go over the firearm. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I just get in the habit of driving that left thumb out, and so I treat it the same way with a rifle. So when I'm here, I'm coming up. Now, big mistake that I see, especially new shooters make, and some people would claim this isn't a mistake, but they'll put the butt stock, way out on their shoulder, and they'll stand almost sideways, like if they were going to be shooting, clays with a shotgun. That's not the case, because if I'm shooting that sideways, I'm absorbing that recoil this direction. So it's on the on the outer part of my body. That's more leverage that the firearm is using when I feel that impulse, the recoil of the rifle. The further out it is on my body, the more it's going to have the tendency to turn me. The more centered it is on my body, and I start to wrap my shoulder around it, the more I can really start leaning in and driving the firearm. Okay, that allows me to really get a good solid mass behind it, so that it's not changing my stance. I'm not having to reacquire my optic or my sights, whatever you're using. So grips, same as with a handgun. With the buttstock, I've got my feet are in the same isosceles stance that I would use, perhaps slightly offset, but really it's pretty much the same isosceles stance that I would use with a handgun. And I'm here, okay, with the buttstock in from not the outermost part of my shoulder, but in toward the middle line, almost right here. And then I wrap my shoulder around it, kind of like I'm trying to hug the buttstock as tight as I can. So I'll go here and hug it. Now I can start to engage. Okay, so now I can work the safety because my thumb is high. I've got a good high grip. Now, I want you to think about this. From this angle, take a look at the grip and the stance. If I were to leave this firearm, if I were to discard it, and all of a sudden there was this one replaced it, nothing has changed. Nothing in my stance has changed. I'm here. Nothing changes in between the two, because my stance, my grip, and everything stays as close to the same exact method as possible. And that's important when we start utilizing economy of motion, economy of effort, not regripping, not retraining. The more crossover that we have in our training, the better. Being a better rifle shooter will make you a better handgun shooter, and vice versa. It is much easier to be a good rifle shooter than a good handgun shooter. The longer barrel and plus the buttstock allows for more points of contact between your body and the weapon, and the longer barrel allows for basically more forgiveness when it comes to actually engaging targets and minimizing your miss. So the differences between the long gun and the handgun should be minimal when it comes to your grip, your stance.